What's up, everybody? This your favorite cousin, Rich. And let's talk about gaining employment as a black man. To me, it's one of the most frustrating, awkward things that, we have to do is gaining employment. And I think the worst part of it is the job interviews. Everybody has to put in job applications, so I get that. But even when you put in the job application, it always, my heart always stops when it comes to when they ask your race. It's like white, American, black, African American, Latino, Hispanic, other. Sometimes I want to put other. Sometimes I want to put other, just put white and see how far it goes. I ain't gonna lie to you. And then sometimes it's like when you put black, it's like, oh shit, here we go. I know I'm not the only one. And then when you get to the job interview, it's almost like they're analyzing you for everything that they're not asking you questions about. They ask you questions about what do you bring to the table, or this and that, your past employment, all this and all that. And it's like, they're judging you, or they're wondering other things other than what they're asking you. Might just be me. And right now I'm looking for a second job, and it's one of the hardest things. And I'm not talking about corporate world. I'm not talking about high skill, high pay. We're talking about low pay, minimum wage, no skill, no experience type jobs. And it's one of the hardest things, I don't know if it's that everybody's wanting those jobs and they're all full, or if it's, the managers playing the whole politic game, who knows? It seems like the only jobs I can get are the ones where, the high turnover jobs, the ones where they hire any and everybody, the felons to people with no experience, old people. I'm laughing, but I'm serious. It seems like those are the only jobs that I can get, Other than that, it's like they don't want to see me. And those are the jobs that I can get are the ones where the interviews are on the phone. They don't see you till the first day, so I guess it's just what I have to go through right now. And, I believe a lot of it has to do with intimidation. A lot of these managers or hiring managers, whatever the case may be, a lot of them are intimidated. Number one, by you just being a black man. So the fear of you acting out, or if they have to fire you, how you gonna act in, or if you're gonna be hypersexual on the job, trying to get at every woman at the job, or you trying to get at their woman, or if you're intelligent, you might take their job. So I believe a lot of it is intimidation. Judgment, stereotypes, fear, jealousy. I believe a lot of that plays a part. Now, like I said, I don't know if that's the truth or if it's just my perspective of being a black man, but when I sit down and I think about it, it's almost like, what other reason could it be? Especially if you meet all the qualifications for the job. And we're not talking about corporate world. We're talking about simple, basic shit, that doesn't take experience or anything of that sort. We're talking about like stocking shelves and shit like that, And I understand I'm overqualified. So that could play a part of it, especially, me being college educated. Like, I got a degree, accounting degree, but I'm applying for stock and shelves. So, a lot of them are not necessarily college educated, and there's nothing wrong with that. But, sometimes a lot of people can be intimidated, when you're coming in with certain qualifications, or you're coming in with certain life experiences, or you speak in a type of way, you hold yourself a certain way, or you're confident and things of that sort, college degree or not, and they don't possess them skills, or those skills, I should say. A lot of people get intimidated by that. And now you coming in as a black man and you're not really bowing down, kissing their feet for a job, To them, people get a little flustered. They don't know how to handle that. A lot of people come in there begging and pleading and, kissing ass for a job. And when you don't come in there like that, you still holding your dignity. You still holding your nuts, People don't know how to handle that. So that's why I'm at the point now where I've been at the point. But I'm really at the point now of being self-sufficient as far as like income, meaning I'm building for myself so I don't have to go out there and need employment from others, Really just living off the skills that God gave me and figuring out ways to monetize that in order to be self-sufficient, so we don't have to go out there and then start building community for that, for other black men or other men, almost in the same position. So that's how I feel. Let me know how y'all feel. If y'all been through the same thing. Hey, let's talk about it. Again, this is your favorite cousin, Rich. I appreciate y'all for watching. Y'all be safe out there. Love and blessings.